Torah Zion ois base aval efshe lo v'la'amuna el da emes. Yesterday we learned that Rav Nachman says that the ikar is amuna, and when we're going to have more amuna in the world, then Mashiach will come. So he says the only way to get to amuna is through emes. Kamiv bazoyer v'hoyu tzedek ezer moisna ve'amuna. Which is a belt, tzedek, which means justice will be a belt for his hips, and a belt is a circle around the body, right? We said yesterday that emuna is a circle, so a belt is a circle around the body. So haina tzedek, haina emuna. So you say tzedek and emuna is one thing. For Amr Sham, and it says that emuna iskriyas kab is chaber ba'emes. That justice is called emuna when it's bound together with emes, with truth. The only way to get to emes is by being connected to tzaddikim. And going with their eitzes. By mekabel their eitzes, nechkek boy emes. And the emes gets etched into us. Gets ingrained, engraved. Like it says that you're looking for truth, you're looking for emes. And when you're looking for emes and you want emes, where can you find it? In the inner parts. In the inner parts, in the hidden parts, you can find chachma. Teach chachma. Eitzes that we are makabel from tzaddikim, that's the aspect of marriage. And he's going to explain now how. But if someone is makabel eitzes from a rasha, from wicked people, it's marriage to the bad side, to the klippa side. Like it says, Hanachash, Hishiani. Chava said that the Nachash advised me. The Nachash gave me a eitzah, advised me to eat. L'shayin, Hishiani is the same lashon as Nisuin, which is marriage. Atzasa Nachash kiblu u'b'chinas nesiyin. The eitzah of the Nachash that Chava got is a concept of marriage. V'aldei nesiyin hetlu v'zahama. And through Chava, to say, because she accepted the advice, almost like she got married to the Nachash, and the Nachash polluted her, like as a hama. The Nachash put in as a hama in her. If Muhammad Har Sinai, but by the Muhammad Har Sinai, when we got the Torah, Paska Zahamasa, that pollution stopped. Right? Until then, we didn't have the Torah, and the Zohar calls the Taryag mitzvahs Taryag itin, which is 613 eitzes. It's 613 eitzes how to connect to Hashem. So if it's an eitzah, now we got eitzes from Kedusha, eitzes from Hashem. That stopped the Nesiyan from the Nachash, the Klippa side. And they had a Nesiyan B'Kedusha. Very interesting concept, right? The Lama Nikra Eitzah B'chinas Nesiyan. Why is the Eitzah called B'chinas of marriage? The kidneys advice. The kidneys advice come from the kidney. How does advice come from the kidneys? He says the kloyos and klei halot, because kidneys are a reproductive organ. Klei zera, which produces sperm, it produces zera. When you're getting an eitzah from a person, is as if we're makabel from them zera, kids, actual kids. The eitzahs turn into, because where it comes from, it's coming from the eitzah comes from the brain, and then from the kloyos. It's all connected, so it's as if you're getting zera. Everything depends entirely of the nature of the person, if he's a rasha or a tzaddik. Understand till now? Basically, when we get eitzes from our tzaddik, it's as if the tzaddik gave us kids. And the reason why we go to our tzaddik, we go to our tzaddik to ask questions, business questions, personal questions, is when they give a eitzah, it's not that they're the smartest people in the world and they understand business and they understand everything. No, it's just because when they give a eitzah, their eitzah has siyata d'shmaya. Because they're holy people, they'll give you a eitzah to do something. Sometimes you'll think like, what do you mean? It doesn't make sense what you're saying. But because they're a tzaddik and they have siyata d'shmaya, so now their eitzah is becoming it's like he gave you kids, and those kids, because it's the tzaddik's kids, is going to have a certain siyata d'shmaya. And the opposite with the Russia. That's why the Torah weakens a person. V'nikus tushia, which is a lashon of weakness. Ki hem tayag itin. It's 613 eitzes. K'mosh li eitzah v'soshia. The eitzah is b'mkoim nisian, and the eitzah is b'mkoim marriage. B'china zivik amatish koyach. Right, like when someone has zivik, it weakens a person. But tzas atzadik hu kulo zera emes. The eitzah of a tzaddik is kulo zera emes, which is zera emes. It's emes dige kids. V'zeh perish v'noichi netatichu soirek. Beginnes a geula. That's the beginnes of a geula. K'mosh of eshreka lohem v'akaptzim, which is also alluding to geula, to gather around all the Jews. Aldeima, how is this going to happen? Aldei kulo is zera emes. Aldei atzas tzadikim tovel emes. Through the eights of tzadikim, you'll get to emes, because the tzaddik is giving you zera emes, and if you accept that eitzah and you go with that eitzah, that's how you're going to get to emes. Aldei zeh nikros emuna. Through that, that's called emuna. Kades chaber by emes, like I said before, that emuna encircles us, and that is going to bring us emes. Aldei zeh tova geula kanal, and through that, because we're going to have more emuna, we're going to have geula. We're getting the drops of the tzaddik's seichel by accepting the eitzah, because the eitzah technically comes from the seichel. Tzaddik uses the seichel, so by us getting drops of his seichel, that's like getting drops of zera, and that zera turns into zera emes, which brings you emuna, which brings you geula. Fascinating. This is the meaning of the pasuk hein emes chafatztu batuchas, which is you have to find emes from the inner parts, which means bakloyos, from the kidneys. Chachma sadieni. Teach me wisdom. It's just teach me chachma from the inner parts. Eskel kabel tipe yamoyach. We should be zoichet to kabel the drops of the moyach of the tzaddik tipe yasechel. Drops of the seichel, the eitzah shamakabel them through the eitzah that we get from them. But ours, eskela emes, and through that we're going to have emes. Yeah, tipo seichel nikra kilo zera emes, because seichel is called zera emes. Yep, that's where we end today. Wild, huh?
Interesting.
You can cut the recording, but it's wild. What do you say to that? How do you as a doctor?
Not even as a doctor, it's intellectual and spiritual. They're placing I'm interpreting it as the seeds, not necessarily the kids. So they place their seeds, and their knowledge grows within us, and they're giving us direction as to which way to go on the path and how to answer, how to look at things. So it's like sprinkling stuff.
Right, but he does say that the seeds is zera. It's like as if it gives you actual spiritual kids.
Right. Well, we don't know where things are going to lead further down the line, right? Last week's parsha, we were discussing about Esav. Should we abort? Should we not abort? I'm not sure where that Torah came from. But we never know where it's going to lead, and who's going to be Makarev, and which seeds are going to be planted in which direction, and which path we're going to be led down.
Right. But basically, the main thing to take out from this is when we ask tzaddikim, we just have to believe that when we ask them for something, they give us advice. That advice is technically coming from their seichel, and because they're so pure, they're giving you over a seed, a kid, whatever it is in the spiritual world, and that's going to drive the force. That is a driving force because you're following. Right? It says if someone has an issue, should go see the Chacham Be'ir. Right? She goes, this is the reason, the Chacham Be'ir, because the Chacham Be'ir has a certain siyata d'shmaya.
And they have less cheshbonos because they're not directly involved. We're always thinking, should we give this person money? Should we make this decision? What's going to happen? A lot of times when we go to the Chacham, it's unfiltered.
Yes, yeah, but also if the thing is, we have to know what does a Russia mean. What is a Russia? We don't know who a Russia is, but we definitely can know who a tzaddik is.
Yeah.
So we just have to be careful with who we take advice from. I think that's what he's saying, and he's saying, I think, the same thing in Torah Daled. He said about that if you're listening to a niggin of a Russia, or if you're listening to a niggin of a tzaddik, if you're listening to a niggin of a Russia, then it's going to be, he says, kosher l'avodas haboyer. It's going to be very hard to do avodas Hashem because the Russia is like going in. It's going in. That's why I will say input and output, right? If you have an input and an output, whatever you put in is going to be the output. So we have to be careful with the input because that's going to be the output.
Everything that goes into the body, whether it's hearing, whether it's food, everything comes out a different way.
You are what you eat.
Yep.
Great.
Shkoyach, shkoyach.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful, warm day, everyone.
You too.